prettiest mustache in the universe. And it's RPG night with the boys and girls. And we are all here. Yay, James is here, Justin's here, Monica's here, and it's werewolf night.
Say my name like that again. Oh, yes.
I used to be a werewolf, but I'm alright now!
Yeah, I used to be a werewolf. Boy, was that a weird weekend.
I'm alright now! And we are...
How the hell does the Naramon thing look like you're a stoner? Like,
know.
legit. The pose that you have your if you're in your animation set for Naramon, it literally looks like, your dude's high. He has this stupid goofy grin on his face.
Nice.
Wait, are you talking about for your operator?
Yeah.
How do I...
We are live broadcasting from the dojo, our clan dojo here in Warframe, where if you do play Warframe, PlayStation 4, you're welcome to come and apply to join. All kinds of new updates have come in. And yes, it is roleplay game night. The last time we played, our intrepid group of players found themselves on the docks getting chased by some Black Spiral dancers who were unloading something that looked very vampirish in nature in the middle of the night. They ran for their lives. There was a big car accident. Police showed up. All kinds of things happened, but no harm, no foul at the moment. They called it a night, and it's going to be morning when we pick up the story. We'll wait for everyone to get in and get comfy and get set. Make sure they have their character sheets. Oh my god, I have fewer dice available this week because I gave a whole bunch of my dice to my daughter, who's DMing her own Dungeons and Dragons game. And she was like, I have to use a dice rolling app. I'm like, wait, what? I have a box full of dice. Why are you using a dice rolling app? She's like, but I don't want to take your dice. Sweetie, I've got lots of dice, take. And I gave her a whole bunch of miniatures that she and her party could use as tokens and minis and stuff, and so they're all very happy.
Nice.
Yeah. It's one of the joys of being a dad, especially when your kids are into some of the same things that you are.
Oh, the lighting doesn't look as flat in the dojo anymore.
Aha!
Interesting.
Oh, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. So, for anyone who's been following along and been watching this and is interested in whatever, this is the part, at this point, the story is pretty much going to take off. Up until now, it's been introductory. It's been a chance for people to get used to their characters, used to where their stuff is on their sheets, used to the setting a bit, and that sort of thing. I've been hand-holding them a little bit, because the only person who's ever really played this game, aside from me, is Justin Malkmaven, who knows about the World of Darkness. The other, James is a diehard, long-time role player, so I knew he'd pick it up pretty quickly. But this was a chance for him to get used to the style. So from this point on, this is where the story takes off. So if you've been watching going, gee, I wonder when he's actually going to start doing stuff, this is where we're going to start doing things.
This is that point.
Yeah.
This is the moment that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. This is when the foot hits the pedal, and the tires squeal, and there's a big burning rubber, and the story just comes at you and doesn't stop.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. So, in the morning, there's a message on your phone, Gra, and it says meeting this evening, 8 p.m. at the pub, and it's from Seamus.
Okay.
And it says bring your friends, So,
cool.
That's about it. And basically, you guys have the day to yourselves.
So I'm not gonna hide me kids and hide me wife.
Yep. No, basically you guys have the day to yourselves. If there's anything that you want to do, let me know now, and we'll get it through. If it's just shopping, if it's just checking up on things, then there's no need to necessarily roleplay it. But if you want to interact with people, then let me know so that we can get that done. But until then, there's nothing story-wise for me until the evening.
Okay. I am... What the fuck do you want from my life? Oh, I just came in that you went live on Twitch, John.
Ah.
I never would have guessed. Yeah, I think basically what I'm just gonna be doing is mostly, just kind of hanging around the house, basically.
Good stuff.
Not a hell of a lot of anything interesting.
Nope. Although you now do have a guitar that's a little more attached to you than it was before.
Okay.
Well,
so I'm gonna play that for a while.
It's interesting. You were always a good guitarist. You're very good. You're a good musician. That kind of thing. But now, when you play your guitar, you almost feel like it's interacting with you. You feel that it anticipates what you want and the style of music. And when you're playing it at home, because of what your home is, because of Tir na Nog, you can see the spirit of the guitar in there, and you can almost it's almost like you're playing with another musician. You can feel,
cool.
you can see it being happy when you're playing well. You can see it like encouraging you, moving. It's almost moving around inside the guitar and feeding off the style of music, and its appearance changes. If you're playing the blues, suddenly it's got a pair of cool dark sunglasses, and, an old leather coat. This little guy inside of your guitar. When you're playing heavy metal, it starts getting spikes and chains and ripped jeans.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this thing feeds off of it. Basically, it's an awakened guitar, and so when you're using this guitar specifically, you have a -2 difficulty to performance checks.
Nice. I need a name for it too now.
You absolutely do. Anybody
I'll get
else?
back to you on that probably within like the next 10-15 minutes.
Sure. Is there anybody else who would like to do anything during the course of the day? You've got all day.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Pretty much all I'm doing is just meditating, hanging out with the local spirits and such.
Okay. Yeah, Boston has some very interesting spirits, actually. Spending time in Boston with the spirits is really neat, because there are spirits that represent the city through all of its stages. So, you do notice that in a couple of areas, there are spirits, they're not Banes, they're not necessarily worm spirits, but they're on the edge. You see spirits of things like addiction and prostitution, and like the old combat zone, which is no longer there in Boston. They've basically torn it down and built over it, but the spirits still remain in that area, and but there aren't very many. Those spirits seem very weak. And after last night's interaction with the Nexus Crawler, which by the way is gone, you don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. There are very few Banes. There are very few Banes left in the city that you see, at least from just walking around and dealing with it, because even Banes are scared of Nexus Crawlers.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is scared of Nexus Crawlers. Most of the other spirits seem to be just getting back to doing what they do. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of colonial spirits, actually. Spirits from back in the earliest parts of Boston. They're very neat. You see spirits of pilgrims walking by in those funny hats with the buckles on their shoes. Things like that.
John.
Yeah.
Just sorry to interrupt, then I realized something really dumb. You know how I came up with Phelan as a just kind of random name off of a generator?
Yep.
You're never going to believe what it actually means.
What does it mean?
Wolf.
Nice.
I'm going to die.
Beautiful.
Essentially just means wolf the werewolf.
Yeah, pretty much.
In Gaelic.
In Gaelic, yeah. You are a wolf in Gaelic. There you go.
I can't fucking believe this.
Beautiful.
Hey, look at
I
the
can't
bright
believe
side.
you done this.
Look at the bright side. At least you didn't name yourself Spot.
No kidding. Stay. I know a guy named his dog Stay. Come here, Stay. Come here, Stay. Come here, Stay. Now the dog just ignores him and keeps typing.
Oh, it's even better than there's always if you name your dog Stain. Come,
Yep.
Stain.
Yep. I know a guy who walked his dog all at once. Walked him from Boston to Miami and back and said, "There, now you're done." All right. So evening shows up. Monica, unless there was something special you wanted to do.
Does lifting heavy things I find in the junkyard count?
Not really.
Okay, then no.
Nope, absolutely. So evening comes around and you are all invited down to O'Leary's, which is Seamus's big pub. Okay. It's a big standard kind of Irish pub. Everyone tends to show up. 8 o'clock, it's early. There's not much of a crowd, fortunately. Logan, as always, is at the door. Big, massive, imposing, friendly.
Logan, more like low gains.
No kidding. He as
high
you,
gains.
Yeah. As you arrive, he's like, heard you had some excitement last night. Sorry I missed it.
Yeah, just a wee bit.
Sorry I missed it. Haven't had a good fight in a long time. If they're still
Yeah,
in
I'm sorry
town.
you missed it too. You would have had a fucking blast.
If you see them again, call me first.
Yeah, I'll hit you up. I'll give you a text. I still have your
Absolutely.
number, right? You didn't change it?
He just looks at you like, what are you, fucking stupid? You see him, he's looking at this cell phone like, I'd like to eat this thing. But Seamus insists I carry it around.
You said give me a call.
Yeah.
That usually assumes that you have a cell phone.
We used to howl when we called people. It was different.
It's true.
So you guys go in. There's hardly anyone there. Back in the back room, there's a big pool room with about 5 or 6 pool tables. There's no one there. That's where you guys usually have your sept meetings. You notice that Astra is there. That's Diana's friend or her mentor, and she and Seamus are talking along with one of the glasswalkers, one of the higher up glasswalkers, whose name you don't know. You've never really been introduced to him. And they're getting ready to leave. They're leaving as you come in. And Seamus is like, "Oi, come on in, sit down. Shite's hit the fan, and I gotta fix this crap somehow."
What happened?
Well, Christ, you were there last night. Look what happened. Plus, I got bloody window. Plus, I got bloody Wendigo dragging friggin' Nexus crawlers into Bastion. Like I got nothing better to do. Bloody hell.
It's a right grand old fucking
Well, we've invited
calamity we found ourselves in.
We've invited a few bone gnars from New York. Larissa's been nice enough to lend us some of her people to sniff around the city, and they're going to let us know what's going on with those two spirals that come in with their thing. They're better spies than any of us. They got their ear to the ground. They know things. In the meantime, and there's a knock on the door, and Logan pops in and goes, "Boss." "What?" "Prudence is here." So, "Oh, Christ, you're just full of good news." And Logan laughs and says, "You're too ugly to live forever." All right, you, Craft. Christ, what am I going to do with her now? Take your friends out to the bar. I got to meet with somebody, and you can't be here. Nobody can be here. This is... Oh, Jesus Christ. Shite. I'll call you up in 5 minutes. And as you're walking out, Logan taps you on the shoulder and says, "There's a woman here to see you."
Me.
Yeah, not the typical floozy who thinks you're cute. She's sitting at the back.
Oh, fuck.
She's sitting at the back in the corner. You'll recognize her. She's got black hair and red skin.
Give these two around on me,
Oh,
and then
take
I'll
them.
meet with her.
Take them. She asked for you and your friends.
Oh, okay, right. I guess around.
Yep.
For everyone at the table, then.
They'll bring it over. Yeah, there's all.
Cool,
yeah,
thanks.
the bartenders is nodding like, "Yep." As you're leaving, you see a tiny, and I mean like 4'10", skinny as a rake, punk rock girl going into Seamus's office. She's got like ripped jeans with the safety pins, an old leather jacket. She's got like super coal black dyed hair, piercings all over, and she's itty bitty, and she's heading into Seamus's office. You see Logan sort of nod at her with a very, very, maybe the first time you've ever seen Logan look nervous. You could cut the air between them with a knife. It's not. There's no roll needed to feel the tension there.
Hey, Logan.
Do yourself a favor. Mind your business on this one.
I was gonna ask if you're feeling alright. You look a bit pale.
It's a long, long story, and until the boss says I can tell it, my lips are sealed.
Fuck. Right, I guess I'll go to the fucking table then. Alright, come on, you two.
Waiting at the table is a young native girl. She's sipping a Pepsi, and she sort of waves at you. Over here.
So, Gra walks over with the other two in tow.
Hi, I'm Lorna.
Wait, am I there?
Yes, you are.
Can I, like, do some shit to, like, kick the Pepsi out of her hand?
You're in a bar. Wow, why?
Because...
Why would you?
I don't know. I don't like Pepsi much.
She's just a girl. She's just a girl in a bar.
Hey, Logan.
Yeah.
How many times have I told you to tell Seamus to get fucking Coke products?
There's a nice girl at the bar, sitting at a table anyway, and she says, "Please, I'm Lorna. An old man that we both know said I could probably talk to you about something."
Aye.
You said you were a good fella, and that.
I mean, I try.
Well, we'd like to invite you, all of you, the three of you, to a meeting outside of town at our sept. Something's going on, and it's been decided that you probably should be included and talked to. Normally, we don't have much to do with you folks, but things are in the wind. Things are up, and they figured they would send me. I'm the most non-threatening. You know, they figured chances are you wouldn't think I was coming here to pick a fight.
I mean, it's kind of a bad idea to try and pick a fight with a Irishman, to say the least, on their home turf.
You know, we're not. That's not what we came looking for. Things have happened.
That.
Things have happened. It may be it's Thursday. On Saturday, would it be convenient for you guys to come out? And she just gives you a piece of paper with some directions written on it. Someplace like about 20-30 miles out of town. There's a native reservation out that way.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep my schedule open, so this way we could all head out.
You guys are, yeah, you'll be welcome. And she just like leaves. She's just like, oh, I'm not sticking around here. Bye bye.
I guess I'll take her drink.
Basically, as she's leaving, Logan shakes her hand. Says something to her quietly.
Must have something to do with the little incident last night.
Yeah, I was about to say, assume that's the whole shite with Wendigo.
Seamus comes out of his
having
office.
To do with it.
Seamus comes out of his office and motions to you and says, "Come on in. Come here. Come here."
The beers too?
Yeah, come on.
Okay. So, Gra walks in, again with the other two in tow,
Yep.
and passes him the free drink.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it'd be courteous enough to offer a man a drink in his own bar, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. We're gonna need a drink. Paul, put a double whiskey in that. Oh, shite. Okay. Sit the fuck down, by. It's story time.
Oh, geez, here we go.
Oh, okay. I got big headaches. Yeah, you two. It's no more secrets time. Things are wild and getting wilder, and Boston is falling apart, and it's time to let everyone in on what's going on. At least what we know is going on, and maybe get some help. Head office is not going to like this, but head office can fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. Sitting back in Dublin talking about the old days of the IRA like it was a big shite deal. I'm the one who's here, and I'm the one who's got to fix it. And I don't care if they respect me or like me or not. So the woman that you just saw, her name is Prudence Goodwife. She is, to the best of my knowledge, 475 years old.
Jesus fuck.
And she's half and half.
I was about to say she doesn't look like she's
Wait a minute. Half and half?
Yeah.
Aye, you heard the man.
Yeah, she's half us and half them, and she's the vampire prince of this city.
Wait, no, hold on. I thought they were on half and half.
Whoa.
You mean to say that she's actually a fucking hybrid?
Yeah.
Like
And
a
that's-
real hybrid?
And that's why...
I'm more concerned with the fact that the leader of the vampiric community of the city came in here for a chat.
Yep. And
And
that's...
didn't leave with a mess of teeth down her fucking throat.
Oh, she would have very little trouble killing almost all of us. But, we made a deal a long time ago. There are almost no vampires in Boston because of her. The only vampires in Boston are those who she approves, and she cannot stand the politics, the European problem politics of most of the vampires.
Oh no, have you
Because-
seen her in my outfits? We both fucking hate politics. At least there's one thing I could agree with her on.
So we made a deal, and this is why Dublin is really, really pissed at me, because we made a deal. We helped her, Logan and I, before your time, helped her take over running the city from her side. And we agreed to a truce. She doesn't cause trouble in the city. She doesn't allow trouble in the city. She hates vampires as much as we do. She's a gangrel. She's a feral. They live in the country. They're like animals. They can be animals. They were shapeshifters. And so we figured better the devil you know. And because of her, 3 other groups of vampires that were already here were wiped out. She and her people
I
wiped
see.
them out, and they keep every other one out like the goddamn plague. When she heard about what happened last night, she came here to see me.
That's what they were transporting.
They were transporting something. We don't know. Either a vampire or 2 vampires or something of that nature. But you showed me
Whatever
the
it was.
marking.
Some shite that shouldn't be
Well,
here.
well,
That's
the
the
market-
main point of the
Whatever it
conversation.
was- Whatever it was, Banes were being drawn to it in droves.
Well, it was something from the followers of Set, which, according to her, are like the worst vampires that exist. We know all about them from Malia's group here. They're the reason why the Silent Striders have no homeland. And she's basically said that any help that she can give, she will, on the quiet. And I figured at this point it's time you knew.
Well, I appreciate that sentiment.
So,
I was like being kept in the loop.
well, it's something that the less you know, the less can get you killed, basically, sometimes. There's only 3 vampires who live here. There's her and her 2, I guess, children. And yeah, she used to be the other thing too that this one doesn't leave this room is she was one of us. She was a Fianna. She's been a vampire since that she was a vampire during the time of the Salem witch trials. Just to give you an idea, that's how old she is.
Jeez. Holy fuck.
Yeah, and now to the vampires
What a time
don't
to be
care.
alive.
The vampires don't give a shite. If you're a werewolf, part werewolf, they don't care. They're about politics and their own thing. Our people, not so much. She's an abomination to our people, and most of them would kill her on sight if they could.
I will keep that in mind.
Yeah, but if we're going to keep this city peaceful, functioning, and allow it to heal after the bombing, well, you know, as I said, better the devil you know.
I think that above all else, I want Boston to be actually, right with the world, and
Well-
not under constant fucking threat. That's my chief goal. I don't care how we get there. It just needs to be done.
Yeah, well, she's not of the worm, which is good enough for me, for the moment
Aye.
anyway. We're not strong enough or powerful enough to, even if I wanted to kick her out, which I don't necessarily. She's not a bad person. She's just is what she is. And I know that the old guard and the elders would have a lot to say about that, and it's cost me a lot of standing, but I don't care. This is my city, and I'll protect it any way I have to. So I'm glad you're in. What did the little Indian girl want?
There's a reservation about what 20, 30 miles or so if I'm reading these directions right on Saturday. She wants the three of us to go out and have a look, see, and do whatever the fucking blah blah blah.
Oh,
Literally, I have no idea why. She just said, "I want you guys, the three of you specifically, to come out and have a meeting." And I said, "I'll keep my schedule open." And then she just fucking was like, "Okay, bye," and just up and left.
Yeah, they're not comfortable here in town. She's a Wendigo. That's a Wendigo sept. That's Ice Moon Howl's sept. He's the elder.
Thought she was.
Yeah, that's Red Moon sept. They'll be well, if they're people of their word. If they said you're invited, then you're invited. All right.
Maybe they want to
Also,
compensate
speaking
for
of you're
how
invited,
Nexus come.
yeah, probably. Speaking of you're invited, Seamus, just to keep you in the loop, you know how Ice Moon Howl every so often will come to my house,
Sure.
and do a ritual or whatever the fuck. I was like, whenever you want to come hang, just knock on the door. We'll probably be home because I don't do much with my life other than drink and come here and play. So he was like, oh, cool, So we have him as a friend now.
I think you've done a good thing there. That's he's a good man. I've always had a great deal of respect for him. Good. Very good. So now we just have to figure out what the hell's going on with these vampires and these dancers and all the other crap.
Fucking Nexus crawler, Jesus.
Oh, the Nexus crawler came and left. That was fine. They fought him. They killed him.
You're shitting me.
Well, I mean, 2 of them were killed in the process, but they live for that kind of thing. But I got a message from Ice Moon Howl this morning, and apparently there's been something of a split in the Wendigo. Like he said, he wanted to apologize, but basically he said they're not my people.
That doesn't surprise me, especially
Yeah.
after the shite they pulled.
Well, he didn't look too happy. He didn't sound too happy about it either. Things are happening, and I'm not sure what. So find out what you can. This evening, maybe go back to the docks. See if that boat's still there.
Aye.
See what's going on, and keep your eyes open, like really open. If there's 2 black spirals in town, there might be more.
Mm-hmm. I'll keep you posted. I'll text you.
All right. Take your friends with you. So far, you guys have been doing very well. Maybe we'll have a pack bonding ceremony if you guys keep working so well together. Maybe we'll give you a little more potency and power.
That'd be nice. Anything
right.
else, or
No, that's it. I need another whiskey's what I need. A whiskey and a vacation.
Okay, you and me both.
You wouldn't happen to have any Coke, would you?
Yeah.
No, it's fucking Pepsi products. Shit. We talked about this, Seamus. You need
We've all-
Coke products.
I like her. She's funny. I'll have to help her. All
If
right,
anything,
so
just do it for her.
the rest of the no problem. There's a case of Coke in the back. Don't be stupid. We got Coke. You got Pepsi. We got anything you want.
So anyway, I guess we'll be heading off.
Yeah, if you get a chance, like I said, check out the dock, see if there's anything left, any evidence that we can pick up. Anything more we know is good. Keep an eye out for those spirals. If you have to get into a fight, get into a fight. But for God's sake, don't let anybody see you.
Aye. I'll head to the docks now,
Mm-hmm.
just for fun.
Have you got any weapon? Do you have a weapon? Do you have anything you can carry?
That me? No.
Are All right, he goes rummaging. He goes rummaging through a drawer. He pulls out a Glock 17. He goes, "Here. I'm pretty sure you know how to use that."
I mean, I have a vague idea. Yeah.
Well, you point the in and pull the trigger.
I grasp that. Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
so easy, a child could do it.
Anyway, for the most part, you are a weapon when you want to be. So, this is just in case. Oh, and here, he gives you a magazine of silver bullets.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's the ammo?
Just in case.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All
He
right.
sticks that like in his jeans.
Off you go, lad. Take your friends. Have fun. Next time we have a set meeting, we'll recite the deeds. We'll get some renown. You guys have earned some, I'm pretty sure.
Cool. Well, let's get to it, lads.
Mm-hmm. He's
Ladies,
already
excuse me,
on the
spasses.
phone. He's already on the phone making calls. He's like, okay, talking to people.
Show you how to make a phone call.
Let's get to it, lasses. And he leads them out of the bar, and
Holy shit.
They took what's it called, Gross truck, I
Mhm.
guess. So this way they didn't have to take an Uber.
Yep.
You know.
No problem.
So they ride to the docks in Gross truck,
I just
unless anyone
realized
else has
since-
anything that they want to do.
For a second, I just realized since I have the that one item or thing
Mhm.
that lets me be in werewolf form but appears a human at all times, I just realized I could be like the worst person to give an unsuspecting piggyback ride to.
The only problem is it looks weird. Like you look human, but it's like if you were to give someone a piggyback ride, they look like they were floating in the air 3 feet above your back.
That'd be awesome. I could live with that.
Yeah, not really. That's kind of a crime in Werewolf Society. If anybody's watching this later, the Werewolf Society has to work in the modern time, so they have something called the Veil, and you are not allowed to break the Veil. Basically, you're not allowed to appear as anything other than a person around humans, because they freak the fuck out. You do something called inciting delirium, so they don't actually see you as a werewolf, but it can drive people insane. They'll panic and say like they saw a rabid dog or a gorilla or a moose or anything but a werewolf. But every once in a while, somebody will be immune to the delirium, and they'll see it. And there aren't enough werewolves to survive being hunted by humanity. It's a big secret, and they like it kept that way. It's a very serious crime. Okay, so where are you guys off to?
The docks.
Okay, you head back to where you were. There's no police presence anymore. Basically, over the course of the day, they did their thing. Listening on the radio, you hear about a massive car pile up. What seemed to be an escaped animal, maybe something that was being smuggled into the city from the docks, like a large zoo type animal ran out in the road, was struck by a car, and then ran off into the night. Animal control is out looking for a hippopotamus or something that seems to have escaped its handlers, and customs control is being tightened up down at Boston Harbor. Other than that, that's it. They talk about how whatever this thing is, it managed to completely smash and nearly destroy a car. 2 people are in hospital with minor injuries, whatever. But when you get down there, there's a chunk of fence that's obviously in the middle of being repaired. Guys are finished for the day. There's searchlights and spotlights are on, much brighter and much more. There's a few that have been added. So you pull up on the street, on Front Street across from the fence of the harbor, and that's it. Make some decisions.
I'm gonna take some pictures of the increased security and the patched up fence and stuff like that, and just send them all to Seamus really quick, just so he knows what we're up against.
Okay. So you take a few photos out the window of your truck. Send them to Seamus. Hang on a second. Oh, okay. Within 2 minutes, Seamus says, "Head down the road a bit. That place is under observation."
Okay.
Anybody, all the three of you can make obviously perception and alertness rolls if you like.
I will do that.
Can you make one for me, John?
Yes, I can. How many dice have you got in perception and alertness?
Alertness 1, perception 2.
Okie dokie. There you go. One success. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary, but then you don't notice much. You tend to stumble your way through life. What's that? The diff is just 6. Yeah, standard 6.
4 successes with a crit.
There's cameras everywhere. They're very small. They're in the shadows. They're up around the containers. But yeah, there are cameras that have been installed literally everywhere.
Yeah, I have 2 out of 3 successes.
Yeah, there are cameras everywhere. They're small, little basic security cameras, but up on the containers you can see them poking out between the ridges of metal. There's 2 or 3 along the fence now that you actually look. It's dark, so they're in the shadows, but this place is under a lot of observation.
So he sends all the pictures of the camera off and stuff like that to Seamus too.
That's why Seamus told you it was under observation. He looked at the pictures and went, "Oh, cameras."
So I'm gonna drive down like a couple blocks.
I mean, the harbor. This is Boston Harbor. It's huge, right? It's miles and miles of harbor. This is just a spot where you happened to break in the night before.
Yeah, so I'm gonna drive down like 4 or 5 blocks and then try that spot.
Look, okay. Make a perception and alertness roll.
3 successes. One of them was a 10.
So there's no. There's a standard security. Obviously, their security has been upped, but there's no extras. I mean, there's only so many cameras they can install over miles and miles of harbor.
Yeah.
It's still the same. I mean, you've gotten to a spot where there's another key entrance for trucks coming in and out. There's obviously a security guard at a gate and armed guards behind it. Then there's a stretch of fence that runs all the way down the street. So you've turned off a front onto harbor, whatever it's called. You've got barbed wire fence like before, and on the other side you've got stacks and stacks of containers, train tracks, and you see like a freight train with flatbed cars waiting for the morning to be loaded with containers.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. This part of the dock, this part of the harbor mostly has tanker trucks, tanker ships. There's 2 or 3 oil tankers docked on the far side of the containers. You can see.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem to be anyone around. It's evening. I mean, the sun's gone down. It's gotten dark.
Okay.
From where you are, you wouldn't be able to tell if the boat was still there or not anyway. It's on the far side of the containers. It's pulled up at the pier.
Yeah.
You only know the ships are there because you can see their superstructures over the top of the containers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Seamus kills Gra kills the lights on his truck,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of parks in a little alleyway off to the side. And it was like, so let's get to it. Find a way in so we can find that yacht.
All right. Anybody have any ideas?
One that hopefully involves not cutting open the fence.
I'm actually going to peek into the Umbra.
Not a bad idea. You're in an alley. You're in a pickup truck.
Yep.
You're all set.
Okay. Diagnosis.
The veil here is 6. The barrier.
2 successes.
Okay, well, you make your way through. It takes a moment, but yeah, you push your head through into the Umbra. Your spirits there waiting for you. It's quite happy to see you. As you poke your head through, let's see, how far away are you? Let me make a roll. I need to see if this is something that's observable from here. Yeah, as you poke your head through, you feel around your head something that almost feels like a throbbing, like a heartbeat, like boom, boom, boom,
Oh
boom. boom, coming from a distance. It's coming from off in the distance though. But whatever it is, it's intense.
That can't.
Almost like the sound of like bass from a club. You know, like the heavy bass from a club when you're a block away and all you hear is the. Doof, doof, doof. Well, this one's just slower. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Huh. Apparently there's some type of... Does this kind of remind me of the drumming?
No. That sounded exactly like old native, like that sounded like bom bom bom, like perfect native drumming. This is just a throbbing sound.
Huh.
It's unidentifiable to you. It's unidentifiable. Okay. It sounds the closest thing I could describe is it sounds almost like a special effect from a movie. That's how weird it is.
Can I try to focus in on which direction?
Yeah, it's coming from the harbor. It's coming from over there. Basically, it's coming from the general direction of where you guys were last night. You can't pinpoint it closer than that. It's coming from that way.
Do I happen to see any extra security features that were added?
Not in the Umbra, no.
I'm not talking about... Okay.
There's no extra security in the Umbra. It looks very much like it did last night. You see spirits like you see spirits of transport, so horses and carts lined up asleep. You see a steam locomotive or a spiritual like a ghostly steam locomotive on the tracks, like whoosh, making like whooshes of steam and slowly like spirits slowly tending to its boilers, ready for the morning. You know, you see 3-masted ships out in the harbor. Actually, you might be able to see the area where the yacht was from here. I'm not sure. Make a perception and alertness roll. It's going to be tough though. It's like a difficulty 8.
Okay. Perception alertness.
Yeah. Perception alertness. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Investigation, if you have higher, you could maybe, because it's not. Do you notice it at the corner of your eye? You're actually looking.
That was annoying.
That's okay. Shit happens.
Well, turns out I got 4 successes.
Okay. Yeah, it's difficult to see off in the distance, but you do pick out an area of darkness, basically darker than anything else. It's at first it would just look like a big shadow, but given the chance to actually see it, it's in the shape of a boat, off in the distance. It's dark, but it's blacked out. And it's the throbbing is definitely coming from there. It's not blacked out in the sense of it's in shadow. It's more like there's no features to it. There's a boat, but it's featureless. It's very, very difficult to see it. Your eye tends to slip off of it.
It's cloaked.
It's cloaked, yeah. Yeah. 4 successes. You picked out the outline of it, of a perfectly camouflaged thing. You just got really lucky and saw, oh wow, I can see the flaw in the outline.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you so far. It's the cloaked outline of a boat off in the distance, and there's a throbbing sound coming from it.
Okay. I look out. I look and turn around to the others and like, okay, that's interesting.
Are you just gonna sit there with your thumb up your ass, or are you actually gonna tell me what's interesting?
There's a boat out there.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of boats out there. Oh, well, that changes things.
Yes. And it's emitting some type of pulse.
A pulse like what? Like a heartbeat?
Something like that, but it's nothing that I've encountered before.
That's fucking weird.
Point is this. There's something on a boat that's powerful enough to pretty much mask it from the umbral side of things.
Holy fucking shite. Message Seamus in the group chat. Let him know.
Within a minute or two, Seamus messages back and goes, "Man, your guess is as good as mine. Don't get yourself killed, but if we can get more info, that'd be fantastic."
Alright, let's press our luck, see what we can find.
He messages back. Right away he messages back, and for God's sake, don't jump that fence.
Right, duly noted.
I have the perfect solution to not jumping over a fence.
Maliha, no.
What is your solution?
Maliha wants to rip a fucking hole in the fence.
Okay.
No, it doesn't have to be a new one. We can just ask those guys to leave.
I'm just gonna fucking walk up to them and be like, "Hi, so could you just like kindly fuck off like 2 miles over that way direction, so I can poke my head through this fucking hole in the fence that you just finished patching up? Would that be okay with you?"
Well, when you phrase it like that.
It's a fucking stupid idea, innit? So let's get back in the truck, and let's keep going a couple miles down the road.
Diana, what's your idea?
Given the amount of cameras, going through the Umbra might actually be easier.
Yes.
The other reason it could be easier is that if we have to run, last thing we need is to end up popping up back in the real world on the wrong side of the fence and exposed to those cameras.
Aye, very true. Let's do that.
Okie dokie. Make your way into the Umbra. Everyone make a Gnosis roll. Gra, you've got one less point of Gnosis. You have one less point of Gnosis than normal because you're carrying a magazine full of silver bullets.
So I literally have one Gnosis. Thanks, John.
I have 3 Gnosis and I need you to roll for me.
Okay. The barrier here is 6.
I hope to God I win. I
3 successes.
I won.
You rolled a 1?
No, I won.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I got my success.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, Malia, you have a hard time fighting your way through. It seems really to be struggling with you. It takes a good 5 minutes, but you do make it through.
All I can imagine is like someone walking through a web and trying to swat it. But
No, it feels like being born. Literally, it feels like being born. Literally, you're tearing a hole in reality and squeezing your way into another one, and it's squeezing back.
I have a weird way of tearing my way through my problems.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Gra's sitting there fucking like grabbing her hands and like literally like yanking.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's like you're fighting against the unknowable. It's just this invisible reality barrier, and it's
Diana is just looking.
Diana just looks and goes, "You idiots!" When you get through, Diana's little familiar spirit, which looks like a necklace made out of little live snake heads. It's really cool. It just wraps itself around her neck and starts looking in all directions. The little girl that you've started to become completely unaccustomed to still seeing because she's creepy as fuck is there, and she's cowering behind a building in absolute terror.
So Phelan walks over to the little girl and is very careful not to look directly at her, so as to not be completely unnerved. And is kind of like looking at the ship, but standing like a few feet away from the girl, and is like, "Are you okay?"
Actually, I'm not even sure if you can communicate with her. Hang on a second.
Or is she just talking gibberish to me?
No, she's not talking at all. Right now, she's just shivering in a corner behind a building. I just want to see what happens when you speak to her, because this is random. Okay, the second you make a noise, the second you start speaking, she screams. She screams so loud that your ear starts bleeding, and you're just driven to your knees, clutching the sides of your head, and all around windows just shatter, and spirits just like vanish.
So Phelan rises from his knees, kind of coughs a couple times and shakes his head to try and wring the blood out of his ears, and just kind of nods a couple times solemnly and walks towards the ship.
She's basically on the ground with her hands over her head, like just like not looking at anything. She's looking straight at the ground. She's got her hands over her head and she's not moving. Whatever it is, she's really scared. And yeah, no. After a moment or two, the intense ringing in your ears goes away. You are, after all, a werewolf, and you do heal very quickly. This isn't aggravated damage. It's just like whatever it was so ear-piercingly loud that it ruptured your eardrum. So yeah, you're making your way slowly. You're making your way towards where Diana points out.
Before that, Phelan looks directly at Baliha, grabs her very gently by the shoulders, and says, "You deal with your fucking tiny little spirit box piece of shite, you fucking cunt," and walks towards the ship.
Monica?
Before Phelan goes over this ship.
Did you hear what Phelan said to you, and what just happened?
One more time.
So Phelan walked over to your spirit friend, and tried to ask, "Are you okay?" And then as soon as he did,
Okay.
she screamed so loud that it ruptured his right eardrum, and then, after screaming in pain for about 30 seconds straight, stood back up, wrung out his ear, walked over to Maliha, grabbed her by the shoulders very gently, and said, "You deal with your tiny fucking spirit box piece of shite, you little cunt," and walked off towards the ship.
Okay.
I tried to be nice to her, and she did that shite to me.
What if... I don't think she meant anything wrong by it. That's just her way of saying no.
I never would have guessed.
She's cowering on the ground, basically, at this point. And all of you now notice that there is a throbbing in the air. It repeats. Actually, Phelan, you're a musician. Make me like an intelligence and music roll, or intelligence, performance, music, whatever you have. Difficulty of 5.
Intelligence and performance?
Yeah, basically just to figure out something about this. You're trying to figure something out, so, you know. How
What's
smart
the
are you?
difficulty?
5.
-2 because I have my guitar.
It's a -2 if you're performing with your guitar.
Oh, with the guitar.
Yeah,
okay, right,
the guitar. Anytime you use the guitar for something, the difficulty of that check is -2.
I see. I had 5 successes out of my 7.
It's really, really simple to figure out. This is not a regular beat. It's very intermittent. To the average person, it might sound regular, but it's off. And as your hearing starts to come back, you realize it's 2 at a time instead of like boom, boom. It's actually boom, boom. And it's every second and a half sometimes. Sometimes there's a break and it's every 2 seconds. This isn't the rhythm. This isn't like a throbbing in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds more like random. It's random, but every time the noise happens, it's the same noise, and it's even the double beat, da-dum. It's not always in perfect sync. It's not always da-dum. Sometimes it's bump. Sometimes it's da-dum. Sometimes it's bop bop. It's off.
Sounds like a heartbeat.
It's not. If it was a heartbeat, it'd be, do 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 do.
If it's a heartbeat, this person's having a heart attack.
This is like, yeah. If this was a heartbeat, this person has fucking vast arrhythmia.
So
No, this is completely random. It's like you know, do, do, do.
But it is coming from
And it's
with
all
five
fucking.
successes. It is coming from directly over there, always the exact same spot.
It's there, but it's not
Is-
a heartbeat. No, it's some kind of random beat. I can't put my finger on it.
is it like? mm, Could it be like some kind of message or some shit?
Maybe,
And to help
probably
you.
not.
Diana. Now that the spirits are coming back after that scream, they're sort of coming back into their various buildings and places. You, how many points do you have in like perception alertness? How many dots total?
6.
Oh
So
Christ!
for
I'm not even going to make you roll. It's dead obvious. The spirits are all incredibly angry about something. There's a lot of rage being built up. Even in these are perfect. These are like Gaia spirits. They're not worm spirits. There's no banes around here. Actually, there isn't a single bane, jaggling, gaffling, nothing. It's all the spirits of Boston, and they all seem intensely angry about something.
I'll be back in a hot minute, guys.
Yep.
Oh, looks like whatever's on that ship is pissing off every single spirit in the city.
And some of them are angry. As you look closer, you see some of them are also very sad. Some of them are crying. Some of them are wailing. Um,
Hmm.
just wait for James to come back, and then we will continue. That's the easy stuff. That's with no rolls whatsoever. Dead obvious.
Yeah.
And if there's anything either of you would like to do now, let me know. We'll just we can get going. So far, you're about, you're quite a distance away from where this throbbing is, like easily half a mile. It's off in the distance. Yeah. Diana is looking around, noticing that all the spirits in the area are really angry, and some of them are wailing and crying about something. The boat is still easily half a mile off. And again, you don't see the boat. You just see, once Diana points it out to you carefully and you take a moment or two to really look, you see the dark outline of a boat against the darkness kind of thing. And again, that throbbing kind of sound every once in a while is coming from that distance. And every time that happens, even you're starting to notice now, every time that sound comes, the spirits they react to it. They react to it with an intense they either yell back at it, or they cry, or they're wailing, or just something. Some of them are sort of motioning to you, like just you don't know what they're doing. Spirits make no sense to you.
We need to do something about that ship.
I vote we stay away from it.
Well, pissed off spirits in the Umbra has a real world effect, to say the least. I mean, you saw what happened when I started playing the guitar back at the square when that riot was about to happen.
Diana, what would you like to do?
Wait,
We've got to
go ahead, sorry.
Right now, whatever's causing this is on that ship. But I have a bad feeling that whatever's on that ship could be just as, if not, more dangerous than that young lady that entertained us at the bar. And if it's just as old as her,
Or older.
Yeah, it very well might be older, actually.
yeah,
Or
then
younger, we have no idea.
a chance against.
Well, we're all in the Umbra, right?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. Is there any way where I can carry someone with me and fly over to see if we can't, like, get any other, like...
Yes, you can carry either of them in Homid form easily in Krinos form. You're incredibly strong. Plus, yes, you do have wings and you can fly.
Okay, then I want to carry the not music one.
Yep. You pick up
Fine, fuck
Diana.
you too.
You pick up Diana and you fly. You make a flight over the outline of where that ship is in the harbor. Boston, the spirit of Boston Harbor is out there. It's kind of, it's sitting there looking incredibly sad, and it's holding the ship in its hands.
Wait, hold on. The spirit of Boston Harbor or the spirit of Boston?
No, the spirit of Boston Harbor. No one has seen the spirit of
Okay.
Boston Harbor since the bombing.
No, because you said the spirit of Boston
Harbor.
has not been... Okay.
Yeah,
Spirit of Boston had
the
not
spirit
been
of
seen
Boston has not been seen since the bombing.
since the bombing. And now it's holding the ship.
No, the spirit of Boston Harbor. There's a big difference. The spirit of the city of Boston is this huge, not huge, but this incredibly powerful spirit that represents the entire city of Boston.
Okay.
But Boston Harbor has its own spirit. But Boston Harbor has its own spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to the harbor in the Umbra, basically the bay area where the harbor is doesn't appear as rolling waves necessarily. It appears as a spirit, and it's doing things. It's moving ships. It's guiding them in and out. It's carrying them in its arms. It's that kind of thing. It's doing things that is a spiritual representation of a busy harbor.
And it's just holding this
And
one
right
boat.
now you see it. It's clutching this boat in its hands, and it's just got tears streaming down its face. It's a giant, by the way. It's like hundreds of feet tall. It occupies the entire basin of Boston Harbor in the Umbra.
Can I roll to give it a what are they called? The tissue.
Yes, but that's what you see when you fly over. And again, once you're close enough and you're flying over, the sound of the it's not throbbing. It's not throbbing. It's banging. It's ba-bang, bang, really loud banging sound. From a distance, it's more like a deep bass rumble. Now that you're closer, it sounds like something thumping.
And is the sound coming from the boat?
It's coming from the boat. It's coming from the boat. You cannot see inside of the boat. All you see is a dark outline. That's basically boat. That's vaguely boat shaped. It's blurry all on the edges, but you know where that boat was. And again, she got so many successes on her roll that she managed to sort of perceive her way through the illusion.
Okay.
Actually, now that you guys are flying over, make another perception and alertness roll, both of you. Dietrich, you roll. Monica, I'll roll for you. Just a second. You have 3 points. No successes. So Diana, let's see what you see.
I really need to find my dice.
It's okay.
Difficulty?
6. You're not that far away.
No, John, it's not okay. You roll shitty for me all the time.
5 success with a crit.
5 successes with a crit. Okay, now that you're over and have a better look, the spirit of the harbor is holding the ship in place. And it's trying its best to pull it away from the pier, and you can see tangled vines of red and black anchoring the boat to the dock. And the vines are like they're dripping with blood and pus, and it's nasty. It's just nasty.
So evil
And from
boat-
inside of the boat, there's coming this sound of smash, like bang, bang, ba bang, ba bang, like hands beating on a door.
or like,
Now that you're close enough, that many successes, this is what you get.
Okay, so I would say that it sounds like someone's trapped in, like, say, a box, and they're trying to smash their way out.
Perfect.
Okay, get us stuck back over the valley. We have to go now.
Okay. I try to just fucking words. Just try
You
to
haul ass back to me.
Yeah.
Oh, with all the successes, the other thing you notice, there isn't a single Bane or Worm Spirit anywhere near there. There are Banes and Worm Spirits farther away, like very far away. You can see them out in the distance, normally as you would in the Umbra of any city. But none of them will come closer than a certain distance, you can say that.
It's at the point where even they don't want to fuck with whatever's on that boat.
Either they don't want to fuck with it, or it's keeping them away.
Huh.
Hold on, so since Diana knew all that, is there any way that they could have retold they did basically retell the information to us, right?
Yes. Yeah, Diana's like, hey, look at that. As you're flying, she's like, hey, look at that. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at that.
Okay.
Do you see it too? Is that what do you think that all of this is obviously a discussion that you guys are having? If it's something private, I'll message it to you.
Okay. Shit. Never mind. Yeah, I just try to haul ass back to, Music Man.
Flail him.
Yeah.
Grah.
Aye.
No, that's his name. So
No.
they fill you in. They fill you in on everything I just said.
We need to drive back to Seamus right fucking now
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
tell him everything, word for word, from our mouths, not over a text.
Got that
So,
right.
The bombing, where exactly did that happen?
The Boston
Just
Marathon.
curious.
It
Boston,
happened.
okay.
It happened at the marathon, yeah.
And the spirits of, like, certain places, is that just because it has, like, such a great energy or, like, such a great role in, like, the
Everything,
world?
everything, Dietrich. Everything has a spirit. But the bigger and more, let's say, complicated. So a tree has a spirit. Even a rock has a spirit. When you're in the spirit world, you can see them. Usually they're asleep. They don't really do anything. But a city has a vibrancy and a life about it, and so it will have a spirit that represents it.
Okay.
And these are called arcana. They're incredibly powerful. I mean, the spirit of New York is this huge, powerful spirit, and it protects its city.
Oh, okay.
And it influences its city. It influences the real world, and so the flavor of a city like Chicago, New York, Montreal, Boston, right? All these cities have their flavor, this thing that are known about them. That's the spirit, and the spirit keeps that flavor going.
Okay.
So when that
So-
Nexus Crawler showed up, what makes a Nexus Crawler dangerous is it's the spirit of madness. If a Nexus Crawler lives in an area too long, people start going crazy.
Okay.
Banes are worm spirits. They're evil. They're spirits of things like violence, addiction, crime, and they infect people. They infect people and start making them into bad people slowly.
Okay.
It's all kind of like possession, but not quite. They're not demons, but they do influence you. And they're attracted to places of evil. They're attracted to things of evil. Things of incredible good, things of Gaia, will repel Banes.
Okay. I completely forgot what my point was, so...
That's okay.
Okay.
But the spirit of Boston has not been seen since the bombing.
Right.
No one's seen it. It's gone.
Oh, okay.
No one knows where it is.
Is it possible that the bombing itself created like such a negative vibe in like a large amount of places that
It very well might have.
that it like started to like use all of its power just to like contain it in a certain area, and
It
that's
very well
what
might have.
it is.
People
Could
who
be.
commit acts of terrorism typically are infected by Banes.
And Seamus is of the opinion that the spirit just gave up. That he gave up.
I don't agree with
That
I
he
don't
gave up
agree
on
with
Boston.
Seamus. But
It sounds a lot more like it's doing its best, just trying to protect it.
But
It
again,
is
no one's
just-
seen it. No one's seen it or been able to communicate with it. And you do know that in the past, the spirit of Boston was often seen in the Umbra. You've seen it, Gra.
yeah.
You've met the spirit of Boston. He's amazing. He reminds you of like the lead singer for Flogging Molly or something.
Yeah.
He's a hoot. He would show up at parties and festivals. He would even appear sometimes in the real world at bars and at big festivals.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I've met the spirit of Boston and he knows me by name, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I know the spirit of Boston and I'm pretty famous and toot toot motherfucker.
Yeah, pretty much. And so he just, after the bombing, like, he just wasn't there anymore. And Boston has definitely suffered for it. It's having a hard time recovering its sense of itself, that fearless, powerful Boston attitude.
Let's get back in the truck and tell Seamus everything. He's gonna want to know. So, but as they're driving back to the bar, Foylan's telling the two of them about, like, you know, the spirit of Boston, how he's met him, and all this, like, a bunch of shit about him, and the fact that now he's gone. No one knows where the spirit of Boston is, and filling him in on as much as he knows and shit like that.
Okay, you're Diana, you're a theurge.
Yeah.
The spirit of a city is an arcana. It's an incredibly powerful spirit.
Okay.
Let me see. What can I tell you? The spirit of Boston is not as powerful as, I say, the spirit of London, who, by the way, you've met.
Yeah.
You've been you and your mentor Astra have toured around a few cities, and you've met some of them. You've been introduced to a few. The spirit of Boston was always known for being. Let me see. What can I tell you here? Spirit of Boston was known for being fearless, extremely kind. Extremely open to a lot of things. At the same time, a little bit racist because, you know, he's old. He's
Irish
old.
are kind of racist.
He's old. And at the same time, probably one of the strongest arcana. One of the strongest of Gaia's allies. Basically, one of the few arcana with almost no taint of worm to them. Like New York is heavily tainted by the worm. Chicago is everyone knows Chicago is falling to the worm very quickly. Gang violence, drugs, things like that. New York is doing its best to fight back. Boston had like almost no worm taint. It was clean.
So, some fucked up shite.
Yeah.
No one's seen it in years. Literally years. I want my city back. We're gonna fucking do our damnedest to get it back. And I think that ship has something to do with it. And
And
Seamus
I'm-
needs to know.
Um,
What was that, Maliha?
Like,
So, anyway, let's go into the bar. We'll tell Seamus.
Okay, Seamus is waiting for you. He's once he hears what you tell him, he says, "I would give my left nut to know what's on that ship." I tell you.
Why would
I
you
give a
guess?
lot more than be left not to know what's on that ship, Seamus.
Let me do a little thinking here.
your body parts aren't that valuable, just letting you know.
I like her. It's gonna be a shame after I beat her to death.
I
Nah.
would gladly let you try, old man.
Oh, I think he'd fucking kick your
damn.
shice in.
Yep. Okay. This is what I'm gonna do for you. Hang on. And he starts making some phone calls. And he's speaking. He's speaking in. You didn't realize he spoke this many languages. You hear him speaking in Italian, French, to different people, Gaelic, English, and he's setting things up because there's going to be a fire, a big one.
I get bored and start doing Italian hands and picking things up in his office.
There's going to be a fire, a really big fire. It's going to happen at 1 o'clock this morning, and it's going to happen on the opposite side of the city from the docks.
So what you're saying is, look over here, and then I'm gonna run into the harbor.
Pretty much. Everybody, every single bit of the normal civilian population is going to be focusing their attention on a large fire happening in an empty construction lot where they're building a condo complex right now.
Can I make the fire?
No, you're gonna be-
because I need you with me.
Oh, but I want to make fire.
We'll make sure
That
that
sucks because you're gonna be with me.
we'll make sure that everything is happening over there. You lot are going to do your best to tell me what's on that boat. It's a lot to ask, I know, and it might be dangerous, but even if all you do is get a good look-see and then run like hell, I'd be happy enough.
I'll do it, but you better buy me Coke.
There's coke in the back room, in cans.
I want more.
Sweetie,
not enough.
sweetie, I'll buy you a fridge full.
2 fridges.
You got
no,
it.
one fridge.
Bloody silent striders, I tell ya. Ugh.
A normal
Ragabash.
fridge in a tiny one.
Lord spare me from the ragabash. Oh well, at least she's gonna know what she's doing. Hey, Gra, she might sound silly, but follow her. This kind knows how to get in and out of trouble.
I'll keep that in
Yeah,
mind,
I got really
and
good
I'll
at
try
the
and keep my head on my shoulders.
Took me a while to get the out part right, though.
Yeah, most ragabashes are that way. Okay, nothing much happens until 1 o'clock when you start hearing sirens and on the radio over your truck you hear reports of a 5-alarm fire burning like not far from the commons. And fortunately, there's nobody living in these condos yet. The place is still being built, but the fire's huge and you can see it off in the distance. It's big.
That's our cue, laddies. Let's go.
Seamus is like, man, do I owe the Glasswalkers a big favor now.
Oh, fuck. Shite. Oh, okay. Let's go, lass.
All right. What are you guys doing?
We get in the truck and bolt.
Okay. You're waiting. Hey, you're already down there. You were just waiting for the call.
We're down by the boat.
Yeah, well, no, you're parked. You're parked where you were last time in the alley.
Yep.
Oh, damn it.
We proceed into the Umbra.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't make you. I'm not going to make you roll.
is
It's
there
not that
any
big a deal.
Oh,
What, Monica?
what did he say? He cut out a little bit for me.
You don't have to roll. You don't have to roll. You get into the Umbra. Give it enough time, you can get in. It's only to get in an emergency that it's really a big deal.
I thought he meant I thought he said drive to boat.
Nope. It's all good. You're there. You're not at the boat. Well, you wouldn't be able to drive to the boat. There's still armed security guards at the only entrance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just carry him and fly over.
You can only fly in the Umbra. Once you're in the Umbra, it's no big deal. There's no guards.
I thought we just both went in, or is it just him?
No, you're all there. You're all there. Okay, so
Yeah, we're all in the Umbra.
you can just walk over. It's not really that far. It's fine. I mean, if you want to fly, you fly. It's all good. And again, it's no different. The closer you get, their spirits are definitely agitated. Some are angry, some are crying, some are sad. There are no Banes anywhere near here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the hazy outline of a boat. And as you get closer, you can see what Diana and Malia saw. You see these tendrils, like vines or tentacles, almost anchoring the boat to the pier, and almost. It's I don't know. It's hard to make sense of what's going on because it's all very hazy. Once you get how close are you getting? That's all. I mean, and again, the throbbing gets louder. And yes, Gra, now that you're closer, you can hear it. It sounds like something trying to pound its way out of a box.
Generally, things that are put in a box should stay in the box.
I agree. So let's do our best to keep the thing that's in the box in the box.
Would punching it help?
No, that would be very bad.
What if I punch the box in?
Malia, do me a favor. Don't touch the box. You know what? Don't even look at the box.
It's a pretty big box. That's kind of hard. That's a lot to
Uh,
ask.
No.
Okay, as you're getting closer, let me see. Diana, as you get closer, within, let's say 100 yards of where this outline of the boat is, there are no spirits. No spirits of any kind.
Oh boy.
You see empty outlines of what used to be a few representations of spirits, but there's the spirits of them are gone.
That's interesting.
Once you get a little closer, you sort of pass through something that makes the hair on your back of your neck stand on end for a second, and then you see the boat. It's the easiest way I could tell is it looks like here in the Umbra, it looks like an old 17th century pirate ship. It's got
like a 3-mast cutter.
Yeah, it's 3-master, black flags, Jolly Roger, cannons poking out the side, that kind of thing.
What I wouldn't give to own a ship like that.
You know what it looks like in the real world. It looks like a very expensive yacht.
But you know what they say, the more piratey a boat looks in the Umbra, the more evil it is.
Again, now that
I'm
you're
sure that's what they all say, Malia.
now that you're past that area that gave you the creeps, you can really hear the pounding now, and it definitely sounds like fists. You also hear the rattling of metal chains. Easy, not hard to identify. You hear the rattling of chains. Like you'll hear like a shake of a chain, and then bang. And you hear a noise. Hang on a second. Gra and Malia, you hear a groaning noise that makes absolutely no sense to you. It's just gibberish. Diana, you have spirit speech, don't you?
Yeah.
You hear a very, very weak voice, just going, "Help! Help!"
Okay.
And it's coming from the boat.
We need to see the box.
Whatever's in that box, it's crying for help.
It's probably in the box for a very good reason. Especially
So
because that thing, that outline of the ship, is that yacht that
What
the Black Spiral Dancers were carrying the box off of.
Okay, hear me out. But what if it's a present and it's supposed to be opened?
Malia, no.
Well, yeah, yes.
Well, right now you're
No,
standing. Right now you're
actually.
standing. Right now you're standing on the pier, looking at this boat, listening to a pounding and moaning.
Well, considering it looks a lot more like a prison and sounds like a prison, then we should probably look for some way to actually help out the spirit to contain it so it's not having to be stuck here all the time.
Oh, hang on a second.
Wait a fucking minute.
Just a second. Ooh, okay. Diana,
Yeah.
the hair on the back of your neck literally stands on end, and from about 20 yards to your left, a thing, I don't know, I'm trying to find a good way to describe this thing. It's just basically a pile of red and black gloop starts like making its way towards the boat. It doesn't pay any attention to you. It doesn't have eyes. It has no form. It isn't even a spirit. It's just a pile of red and black energy, like goo. And you can see as it's moving, it's almost like tentacles are slapping out from it, touching the ground, leaving scorch marks. And it just slouches and blops its way onto the boat. And after a few seconds on the boat, you hear the spirit scream loudly in pain, and then there's silence. There's no more pounding. There's no more moaning. There's no more crying for help. And the gloopy thing makes its way back off the boat and off into the distance. It's just energy. It was just red and black energy. Like it just and it just made the hair on the back of your neck stand on end.
The fuck
It
was
came
that?
and then it left.
I don't know, but whatever it is, just silenced what was on that boat.
We need to find out what's on that boat right fucking now.
Is there a
Yeah.
leak in the boat?
Is there a what?
Nothing.
Is there a gangplank to get onto the boat?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Okay, so then
That's how that thing got on.
literally, like, Gra sprints up the gangplank.
okay. You sprint up the gangplank. The decks are what you expect from an old wooden sailing ship. There's hatchways down and down into the ship. There's nothing on the main deck. That's for sure.
Okay, so then Gra starts making his way down to the lower decks.
You do notice. Sorry, as actually. Hang on, let me see if you notice or not. You're moving pretty quickly. Yes, you do notice. The path that thing walked is easy to follow because there's wisps of smoke coming off of the thing and it stinks. There's a stench of rotting meat coming off of everywhere where that thing went.
Okay.
Hmm.
He pulls his like riding scarf, his like motorcycle riding scarf, like over his mouth and nose, and tries to continue and press on.
Okay, yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, but it's easy to follow. Wherever that thing went, it left a stench and a trail of like almost acid burning.
Okay.
So
It's not that bad.
no, but I mean, it's faint. It's not like overpowering, but it is there.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Okay,
like
you make your way.
just
You make your way
trash.
down. You make your way down a wooden staircase deep into the bottom of the ship, and at the bottom of the ship you see a cage. It's this iron cage with. It looks more like kind of like a fish tank. Just imagine if the corners of the fish tank were made out of heavy bars of iron, and then the glass. And inside is the curled up in a corner, chained, and well, hang on. It's hard to see. It's a little bit blurry. Gra, you can't quite make it out. There's a blurry form chained up inside of there. But it's difficult to make them out clearly. Or make it out clearly.
Okay. Is there any way that I can roll to see if I can make it more clear?
Well, did the other two follow you?
Yeah?
Okay. Diana, you can see it. It's a spirit. You don't recognize it, but it's a spirit of an old man. It's eclectically dressed in a combination of it's got like an old Puritan hat with a buckle on it. It's got then a second later it's got like a workman's cap, those weird ones that when you made a
The
corduroy
paperboy hats.
yeah, paperboy hat kind of thing. Then at one point it's got jeans and boots. It just keeps shifting back and forth, and it's kind of just making like little whimpering sounds in the corner. And it's chained, but more importantly, its chains are applied to it almost in a crucifixion manner. Like they're not wrapped around it; they're nailed through it.
Ooh.
It's nailed by its ankles and wrists with chains, and you can see on the wall, you can see streaks of blood where it's been pounding at the walls. There's
Am I right?
There's 4 chains, obviously holding its arms and legs. There's a 5th chain stabbed into its chest with a big hook, and the hook is attached to the floor of the cage to nothing. It's just hanging there to nothing. But it doesn't seem to. But it's taut, like it won't move.
God. Okay. Okay. The chains. Do they
Yep.
look?
Make a roll to see if I recognize it at all.
All you see is a blurry shape. I'll let you know if and when you can make a roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move closer. I move closer to get an even better look. See if I can recognize whether the spirit is friendly or not.
Can I poke it with a stick?
No.
Well, you
You're not
couldn't
poking
anyway.
the spirit with
All you see, Malia, is a blurry shape and some chains coming off of it.
Doesn't mean I can't attempt to poke it.
You poke the glass. You tap on the glass. Tap, 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 tap.
Well, that was a resounding a lot of excitement that he really just made there, Malia.
Yep.
Basically,
You look very closely. It's the spirit of an old man, or it's a spirit represented right now as an old beat up man who's chained up in a cage, and its appearance keeps shifting. It shifts through a bunch of different, let's say, appearances and forms, but at the same time, it always appears to be a middle-aged to older man.
Gra walks up to the glass and kind of like puts his hands over his eyes to try and look closely, but he's not touching the glass.
when I see the different forms, it's as if its clothing changes. Like you said, it was a Puritan.
Era. Yeah, you see Puritan dress. You see a combination of Puritan dress, 20s, 40s, now 1800s, Victorian, a little bit of everything. It just keeps changing.
The chains, are they physical form or are they spiritual based?
Well, you're in the Umbra, so they're definitely the spiritual representation of a chain, because there's no way chains that big would work. They look like gigantic. They look like anchor chains, like from a ship. They're huge, and the physics don't work for them fitting in there and attaching to this guy. So obviously, it's a spiritual representation.
Is there any way where we can peek through to the real world and see what's
Yes, you absolutely can.
Here's the thing. I basically describe the way it changes. I also describe like its more modern look, like more recent, like 80s, that sort of stuff.
Message me any pertinent information, John.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does my description of the more modern look matches what Grod knows about how the spirit of Boston looks?
Gra, are you carrying your guitar with you?
Yeah, of course I am. I always am.
Okay. The description doesn't sound like doesn't immediately grasp Gra, but Gra, your guitar starts literally vibrating.
I think it's time for a tune, Mazzies. And
play something if you like.
Gra plays The Rocky Road to Dublin by the High Kings.
Okay. As you start playing it, you hear the sound of feet and hands tapping the beat along with you, flawlessly, coming from the cage. Yeah, Diana, you can see it's tapping along, and it's actually looking happy. It's smiling.
Yeah.
You can't hear too much because there's a big thick glass barrier between you.
Of course.
We need to get this thing out of the box.
I believe so. And you know what? I think we now know where the spirit of Boston went.
to jail.
James, make a perception enigma roll for me.
Perception enigma?
Yeah. Enigma,
Okay.
anything like that, yeah. Enigma or occult, whichever one you have more of.
Yeah, okay. What's
Difficulty of 7. You're trying to basically break an illusion. You're trying to perceive your way through an illusion.
959, so 2 successes.
Yeah, now you can see it. There's definitely a spirit in there, and while you can't say 100% for certain, it could be the spirit of Boston. You've seen the spirit of Boston appear in many forms. I mean, sometimes you've seen it be 100 feet tall, right, striding across the city. And sometimes you've seen it appear as a guy who looks kind of like you.
A dude.
Yeah, because that's what spirits do. They appear as what they're needed to be at any given time. But this could be. Whatever it is, it's not evil. You don't get a sense of evil from it. There's evil all over this place, but it's not evil.
So
We
I
need
can
to
break
get this
the jail.
thing out of here. Break the jail.
Malia, you
Can
were
I
saying
reach-
can you look into the real world, right?
Yeah.
Yes, if you want to, you could try to pierce your way through the Umbra. You're going to need to make a roll to do it, and it's going to be difficult. The barrier here is very strong.
Hmm.
How many dice do you have? How much gnosis do you have? 3?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine here.
Fucking turned it over.
And hang
Yeah.
on a second. Hang on a second, Diana. Your helper spirit is your familiar spirit is basically doing its best to push a hole in the Umbra. Okay, it takes quite a while, Malia, to force your way through, but you do. You push your head through through a pocket mirror that you keep with you, and hang on a second. This is just a pure luck roll at this point.
Don't fuck
Okay.
up. Don't cut off my.
You're very, very, very fortunately, your head comes through into the real world behind the big muscled dude covered in tattoos who's sitting in a chair in the real world in this room. He's sitting there and he's he's sitting at this point. He looks like he's reading a book. He's facing away from you, and let me see, what else do you see in this room? Okay, there are 5 chains. They're chained to the walls and to the floor. The 5th chain is literally standing up straight, almost like those Indian rope tricks. It's just in midair. And down at the bottom, it is chained to... It's chained to a book. It's chained to a book. And it looks like a very old leather-bound book, like the size of a big Bible or something, on the floor, and it's chained to it.
So big ass leather book, and there's a chain
Yeah, and
attached to it, and
yeah,
it's just standing straight up.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's a big, heavily muscled dude with tattoos. You recognize him as one of the guys who chased you last night.
Okay. You mean Chase James? I think for a minute I just stood there doing nothing.
Pretty much. They didn't notice you because you're difficult to notice.
Yep. Stood in line for 3 hours. I got passed all the time.
Hang on a second.
But yeah, I guess I'll take that to note. Try to pull my head back in and relay the information.
That's no problem. They didn't. You were not noticed. Apparently, at least you don't think you were noticed.
Damn it, John.
So that chain at the bottom is chained to a book, because in here it looks like it's not chained to anything.
Yeah, it seems to be coming from him, heading to the floor, and then there's nothing.
That spot where there's nothing is probably where that book is.
Makes sense. It's a fairly logical idea.
Here's my thought.
It's Jesus.
I have a gun with silver bullets. If I pop into the real world and I'm noticed, I can kill these black spiral dancers. And then maybe I can destroy that book, because I think that book might be imprisoning the spirit that's in this jail, as it were.
Why do you gotta break the book? Maybe it's a good book.
Diana, intelligence and anything to do with Umbra, so occult, spirit knowledge, anything like that. Make a roll.
Intelligence. What's my diff?
Whoa, 6. This is just basic knowledge.
5 successes with 2 crits.
Oy, plus 2 from your spirit. Okay, almost all powerful spirits have representations in the real world, things that are linked to them. You know, like
book is
like
its anchor, isn't it?
something like that. Almost, I'm not going to say a phylactery or an anchor or anything like that, but you do know that if you know an item that is linked to a spirit, you can affect the spirit in the Umbra by affecting the item in the real world. That's something that you're starting to learn.
Wait, so
So,
maybe
so like the spirit of Philadelphia would be strongly connected to something like the Liberty Bell.
did you, Maliha,
Mm-hmm.
did you see what the book looked like?
Pretty much just all leather.
Was it old?
Yes, it was old. Somebody's sound cut in and out there.
Yeah, that was Monica.
Okay.
Let's see. Can I make like a local knowledge roll, John?
Okay, sure. Do you have
Just to see if I could figure something out.
I suppose. What is it? What is it
Given
you'd like? What's the idea you have in your head?
I want to know specifically if kind of like general assumption, because I have a bunch of pieces in my head and I'm trying to put them all together.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit that's in the jail might be the spirit of Boston.
It might be.
Wait, I
The
thought it
thing-
was Boston Harbor that hasn't been seen.
Nope, Boston. Actual Boston.
No, Boston. Actual Boston. The city. The spirit of the city has not been seen since the bombing.
Okay.
The thing that's in the jail might be the spirit of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Most spirits have a phylactery.
Something
Given
along
this
those
knowledge
lines.
That,
Yeah, they have items that are linked to them anyway. At least powerful spirits or big ones.
right. So the spirit of Boston will most likely have something very old that's important to the city of Boston that would be attached to it. So I want to see if I can figure out what book is in that room, kind of based off of the general description that she's giving me.
Okay. Make an intelligence and I mean any do you have like local area knowledge? Do you have history of Boston? American culture, anything like that. Oh,
I mean,
do you have any and do you have any ancestor as a background?
No.
Do you have ancestors or ancestor spirits as one of your backgrounds? You could tap into ancestral knowledge. Okay, well, just make a straight intelligence roll. See what the chances are.
So, what's my diff?
Oh, I don't know. Make it 7. See what you know.
Okay. So
You're at this point you're guessing. Even with successes, the answers I'm going to give you are going to be like your guess. If if this is this, then it might be that.
I had 3 successes with
Okay.
one being a crit.
Okay, roll it again.
Reroll this one. That's one more success.
Okay.
So that's 4 out of my 3.
If then it might be the genealogy of the original Mayflower. That would be a big thing.
We need to get that book out of that jail thing in the real world, and maybe that will fix the shite that's happening in the spirit world.
Okay. Oh
And
shit.
we need to get the
Okay.
chains off of it as well.
Okay. So let's see. Alright, so Diana can bring us all through by like opening up like a little rift that we can all
You
walk
go through the Umbra
correct?
on your own. No, you go through the Umbra on your own.
Oh. Damn it.
A powerful theurge, an elder theurge might be able to create an opening with a gift, but Diana doesn't have anything like that.
Okay, cool. Alright, then I want to peek through one more time and see if the guard's still in that same place.
Okay.
And then if he is, I want to pull myself through
Yep.
and attempt to like either knock him out or snap his neck.
Okay.
Why don't you do this? I'm going to. Do you know how to use a gun, right?
Do you have any points in
Point
firearms?
sheet. I have. Let's look at this. It's under talents, correct?
No skills.
Skills.
Skills. 2. No. 1. 1.
You have 1 point in firearms. You know which end to point and shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the guy is still turned around, you're gonna take this, and you're gonna take this, and he puts the safety on the gun, and he takes the mag out, and he puts the mag with the silver bullets in,
Okay.
and he hands the gun to Maliha. You're gonna take this, and you're gonna kill him. You're gonna shoot him straight in the back of the head, and he's gonna die. And then you're
Okay.
gonna do that to every single other person in the room, and you are going to, as soon as that's done, try and push a finger, poke through, then I'll know it's you, and I can pull myself through, and as well as Diana, she'll come through as well, and then we'll try and solve from both sides, I suppose.
Okay.
So,
I can't hear shit.
on your way.
Okay. What do you mean you can't hear shit?
No, just for a second, shit cut out.
Oh,
My
okay.
bad.
So, okay, with the silver bullets in the gun, you are down to 2 points of gnosis. Let's see what happens. You spend a little while trying to push your way through, but it's like trying to shove your way through a rubber balloon, with your face, and it's not working. After a couple of minutes, you try, and it's actually much easier this time. It's actually much easier this time. Diana's spirit seems to sense what's going on, and basically starts channeling spirit energy into you, and good fortune, which is kind of what the spirit is. She's a spirit of fortune, good and bad.
Honestly,
And-
I want to start being able to just tear through shit.
This is actually the first time in a long time that you've been in the Umbra, and the little girl hasn't been anywhere near you. She's still way out there cowering in a corner. Let's see here. Okay. This time you go through slick as snot, I'm telling you. Whew. Done. You put your hand there, you push through the Umbra, bing, and there you are. Let me see here.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Wherever you go, there you are. Straight up luck. Okay. Well, the man is the person you saw is no longer sitting in the chair. He's in fact not in the room.
Is anyone in the room?
Nope. Room's
Besides
empty.
the-
Room's empty.
Okay, cool. Chains are like spirit chains, so...
Chains
Oh,
are real
no,
chains. No,
no,
the chains in the real world are real chains. In this world, they're much smaller. In fact, they look like hardware store chains that you might chain your dog up with.
I'm gonna poke my finger through, or whatever it was for the signal.
Well, right now your face is just through the Umbra. You're like looking through, and the rest of your body's in there. You're like
Oh.
So, what do you want to do?
I guess pull back out and let them know
Okay.
that it's like empty.
So there's no one in the room right now.
Not right this second.
Okay, well, let's go through and lock the door.
Okay. Everybody roll on your gnosis. Malia, I'll roll for you again. No problem. You go through. It takes about 10 seconds to go through. Okay. Diana, you're going through as well?
Yep.
Okay.
No, stay here. I need a person who knows what they're doing in the spirit world
Okay, okay,
to stay here.
okay.
Yeah. What's my difficulty?
I'll stick
8.
around.
It's 8 to get through this. Right now, the barrier here is very strong.
Fuck.
You have 2 points
Hey.
now, by the way, because you're not down 1. You gave her the gun.
I have 1 success.
Good enough. It takes about 30 seconds to get through. So both of you get into the room. You pile into the Umbra. You notice that Malia, as usual, makes absolutely no sound. You're as quiet as you possibly can be, and just as you both step down on the floor, you hear a toilet flush.
A what?
You hear a toilet flush from just over there, from the other side of a door, right there.
Give me the gun, give me the gun.
No, fine.
And a door opens and a big, heavily muscled, I mean like 6'5", heavily muscled dude with weird Celtic tattoos all over his neck and arms opens the door and looks and goes, "Well, shit."
Wait, before you shoot him, I want to make an intimidation roll to make him quiet.
Wait, hold on. Stare down.
Okay, you're gonna roll stare down. Okay, explain to me what stare down does.
Stare down. Basically, you stare at the person so hard that they're really, really intimidated and
Okay.
they don't want to fight you.
Okay. Make a roll. What's the difficulty? It usually says how I determine the difficulty.
Give me 1 second.
Usually, probably their willpower, right? Probably the opponent's willpower.
I thought I had that, but I don't.
Stare down's a gift. You probably don't have it. It's not a Ragabash gift.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Where is it?
I was just a big fan when I was looking through all the gifts.
Aha, okay. Rank 2 Hamid gift.
Oh, you could have it then.
Difficulty is 5 plus the victim's rank, and I roll charisma and intimidation.
Okay, so you roll your charisma and intimidation, 5 plus the victim's rank, so your difficulty is 7.
Okay, so I am rolling 4 dice and a difficulty 7, you said? Okay, got it. Four successes, 8, 9, 9, 9.
Okay, so he is, well, hang on a second. Let me see if he remembers that he can do that. No, he can't. Okay, yeah, he looks at you, he goes, "Shit," and he turns and bolts, like through the door right, he comes out of the bathroom, bolts out another door, and you hear him going upstairs, and, like, just takes off.
So Gra, kind of as quietly as he can, walks over to the door, locks it, and puts a chair under it for a barricade.
Okay. Yep. The guy was sitting on a chair. There's a chair there. You lock the door. It's a flimsy door. This is just a boat. This isn't like heavy duty. But
Don't you think we should have killed him?
Sometimes a guy who runs away off of a boat is better than a guy who runs and tells his friends.
Wouldn't his friends be also all outside the boat too, though?
Maybe he really had to pee. Maybe he was seasick. No one fucking knows.
He just came out of the bathroom.
Maybe he wanted to get off the boat to throw up. You don't know. Don't fight my logic. It's flawless.
I said you should have shot him.
No, because then everyone around for a mile would have heard the gunshot, including the police.
You take care of the book, I'll watch the door.
Got it.
okay. The book is exactly what you thought it was, by the way. Looking at it, it's the original copy of the genealogies of all the families who came over on the Mayflower to Plymouth Rock in like the 1600s, and founded the city of Boston. Basically, it's the founding. It's a genealogy of the founding fathers of the city of Boston.
Right.
And there is a chain. It's not much of a chain. Just stabbed. And there's like a screw. It's screwed into the leather cover.
So, Gra takes out his utility pocket knife.
Okay. Before you do anything else, I want you to make a perception and alertness roll for me.
Got it. Perception alertness. So
Perception. Perception. Yeah, just basic perception alertness. Yeah.
Okay. Difficulty what?
6. It's not that hard.
Got it.
We're fucked.
I have 3 successes.
Okay, as you're leaning down towards it, you notice a little gleam on the floor. You kind of look sideways. There's something under the book painted on the floor, but it's painted in just something clear. The only reason you notice it was because it was shiny in the light. If you sort of move your head around, then it seems to be some sort of symbol that the book's sitting on. And it's like kind of like I lick my finger and rub it on the floor. There'd be a shiny spot. That's all you can see.
Okay.
So it's really hard to make out.
Right. What is this book contained in? Is it like
Nothing.
a
It's just
jail
sitting there.
cell?
No, it's literally sitting on the floor.
Okay. I see if I can lift the book up a little bit
Okay.
to see what's underneath it.
Okay, hang on a second.
Ah, shit. I want to say something, but...
Say it.
I was gonna say, like, since he knows about it, is there any way where I could have, like, seen him looking at it, asked about it, and then since it's like barely visible, try and like put some like crumpled up graphite for my pencil. over
No,
it
he'd
just
have
to
he'd
see
have to
if
tell you.
it's
He'd have to tell
solution.
you and point it out. He just looked at it and noticed it. It doesn't not necessarily mean. Okay, when you grab the book, it burns
Kinda like-
it burns the hell out of your hands. You feel like you're literally grabbing something that's been doused in battery acid.
How?
I know exactly what that feels like because I work at a battery store, so that
There you
hurts
go.
and I drop it.
There you go. You drop it and you look at your like it's literally when you drop it, a seriously thick layer of the skin of your hands is still stuck to the book.
Ew.
Gross shakes his hand, and he then takes this time to. So there's this. I don't know if you smell that, but that's me flesh burning, and that's there's a seal, I think,
Diana.
under the book.
Sorry, hang on a second. While you
Yeah.
do that, Diana, nothing happens for a moment or two. You don't see them, obviously, because they don't have spirit representations. And then at one point, you see the chain shake a little bit, and there's a blinding flash of light that comes off of it. It goes all around, just almost like a concussion grenade flashbang going off, and that's it. That doesn't really affect you in any way. It's your eyes squint for a moment, and that's it. And the guy, the old man, his back arches in pain.
What the heck? So who the hell is it hurting? Both of them?
No, it's hurting the old man.
But also you.
Well, yeah, me because I touched the book.
And him because someone
Not when you touched the
book.
book, when you lifted the book.
Oh.
I'm gonna gently push the book off of the seal that's on the floor to see if I can reveal
The
it.
second you move that book, your finger burns.
You want a stick?
Aye, that'd be a good idea actually. This would be a nice time
What were
for a
you
stick.
originally going to do? You said something about taking out a tool, so I don't know.
I was gonna take
I
out
do have
my.
my pocket knife.
Grab was gonna take out his utility knife and see if he could unscrew the screw off of the book and take the chain off.
That actually seems to be working. Nothing happens to your pocket knife anyway. Diana, in the Umbra, the old man appears to be in some discomfort, but he's not like arching his back in pain or anything anymore.
Okay.
At one point, you unscrew the chain. It falls free of the book, and Diana, in the Umbra, you see the chain go loose, and you see the man stand up with the chain dangling off of him, but he's still chained to the wall by his arms and legs.
Yeah.
And that's it. So far, that's it.
Can I kick the book off the seal?
Don't kick the book.
You
You're
abs-
kicking a person.
You absolutely. You guys have no idea what's going on in the Umbra.
Okay, so I'm going to very gently with my foot, with
Yep.
my steel-toed boot, I'm gonna push it off really, really slow.
Okay, you push it off really, really slow. Nothing happens. When it gets to the edge, when it's completely off of the seal, the seal. Hang on a second here. I have to make a roll for both of you. I want both of you to roll your stamina, basically, whatever your stamina stat is.
Me and him.
Which two?
Yeah.
The two who are in the real world. You have no idea what's going on, Diana.
I've
You
got
just
four
the guy's standing
I've
there, the
got
chain's
four
dangling.
stamina.
It's not that big deal. Yeah, you have four
Difficulty what?
stamina. Difficulty's always 6. When it comes to physical
6,
rolls like
okay.
that, it's 6.
I have 2 successes
2 successes.
out of my 3.
Okay. So you take 1
need-
health level of damage immediately, and how many do you have? 4, you said?
I have four stamina. For
4
stamina.
stamina. You take 2. Okay, so James, you take 1 health level of damage, aggravated, and actually no, you don't. You have that fire thing, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I have
Okay.
Master of Fire.
Yeah, you have Master of Fire, which means you take 1 point of regular damage, and
So I'm
Malia, you take
bruised?
you
Hurt?
take you have no penalties. You take 2 points. You take 2 levels of damage as the emblem erupts into flame. Literally, the entire room flashes over in fire, kind of like if somebody lit a room full of like methane gas or something, and it went poof.
And that's why you don't kick the book.
Hey, I gently pushed the book off the seal. Thank you very much.
You're both standing there with your eyebrows singed off and your hair's smoking, and you're both like, fuck.
Okay, can I pick up the book now?
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck,
no problem. Yeah, no
Okay, so
problem.
I pick up the book and I try to push my way back into the Umbra.
Okay. You hear, at this point, you hear the thudding of footsteps coming down the stairs, and the guy's like, the fuck, why didn't you kill him? We'll kill him now! Smash, 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 smash. And you're trying to get into the Umbra.
Oh look, it's those guys with their friends. I wonder who could have possibly...
Shut your fucking mouth, get into the Umbra.
Okay, so make a roll. This is an emergency, so make a roll.
Okay.
Actually, now that you've done that, the difficulty to get through is only 6.
Okay.
The barrier has become significantly less strong. In the Umbra, Diana, while they're doing this, in the Umbra, as you're watching, the man is still chained to the walls, but after a few seconds, you see him literally pull the chains out of his arms and legs. He's only a spirit. They just fall free. And he just looks at you and sort of smiles, and cracks are starting to form in the glass. Slowly, very slowly.
I got 3 out of 2 successes, by the way, because one of them exploded and was a 10.
Okay. And Malia, hang on a sec. Okay. So you guys basically slip into the Umbra just as you hear the door smashing behind you. Like literally just smashing. You guys come into the Umbra, and you're now in there. You see Diana standing by the cage. Cracks are starting to form in the glass. You've got the book. And hang on a second. I need to make some rolls here. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Right behind you, tears are beginning to form in the Umbra. Something's coming after you.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so he gets the gun ready, and he aims
You have no gun in the spirit world. What you're holding is a little spirit of war.
Oh, that's
You're holding a little spirit of violence. This is not an awakened weapon.
Fuck.
You're holding this little
Toss
sleepy.
the-
You're holding this sleepy little spirit
Toss-
of violence and anger that's sleeping inside of the outline of a gun.
No,
Toss the cute little chibi war man.
we run now.
Yeah. That.
Okay.
Okay, you start running. Behind you, you hear the sounds of 2 werewolves, big black furred werewolves coming after you.
Okay.
I want to make an attempt to fly at least me and one other person over towards where the little girl is.
Okay, you're in Krenos form, so yes, you absolutely can pick up. I mean, if they're both in Hamid form, what's your strength? What's your strength in normal?
Yeah, I'm Hamid.
Malia, what's your normal strength?
I think it's 2.
Okay, so plus what is it? Plus 4 in Krenos, Justin?
4 is Krenos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a strength of 6. You have absolutely no problem picking both of them up by the back of their necks and just literally carrying them through the air.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. We're gonna go towards the girl.
Okay.
When we get there, Music Man, ask her how she is.
No. You do that. You piece of fucking shit.
No, really, do it.
okay,
I feel
you're
like
flying.
If it had that effect on you in like human form, think it how it is gonna be with them and their like sensitive wolf ears.
Hang on a second. You're flying. You're being chased along the ground. Not as fast as you can fly, but you're being chased along the ground. Hang on a second. I need to make a roll to see how long this takes. Okay. It takes about 15 seconds, so you've only gotten, let's say in 15 seconds, none of you guys are Usain Bolt here. You've gotten about 150 yards at the when all of you are about 150 yards away. The area where the boat was literally explodes in white light, and there's there's a huge voice that's absolute gibberish to everyone except Diana. A voice just gets up and goes like, and you hear like stomping behind you, and from Diana, all you hear is, "Jesus Christ, you boys are in for a beating." And the looking back, the 40-50 foot tall shape of the very recognizable spirit of Boston is now stomping his way towards those two black spiral dancers.
Gra immediately starts sobbing, like gross, hysterical sobbing.
And the spirals are like, they're running. They're running. Literally, a guy who looks like the lead singer of AC/DC and is 50 feet tall is like heading towards him, steel toe boots on the ready.
That's amazing. Put me the fuck down right now. I need to go see Seamus.
Fine, I toss him in his direction.
So Gra returns from the Umbra. And waits by the truck for the other two.
No problem. So when you everyone
Do they
gets
return from the Umbra too?
I'm gonna hope you guys do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
Definitely
we all go
not
to
trying to fly towards the scary large man.
we all go to the bar.
Okay.
Gra, by the way, literally has not said anything
Okay.
since he's returned from the Umbra.
Your hand is still not healed. The burns are healed. The burns healed within seconds. Your hand still has not grown the skin back.
That's fine.
It's nasty
I
and
don't
it
care.
hurts.
I don't care. I'm driving with my not burned hand. And I
Smacking his
like
burned hand.
I burst through the door. Don't say hi to anyone. I slam the book on the counter and say, "I've done it."
Logan looks and goes, "You've stolen a book? Good
No,
for you."
I freed him.
He's still looking very confused.
The
Seamus comes out and looks at the book and he says, "Well,
The spirit of
There's-
Boston.
there's some hope for us, I guess."
He's free.
Jesus.
And Gra has the biggest shit-eating grin on his face, and there's still tears streaming down his face. He's free. Seamus, we've done it.
And let's just say there's a couple of black spiral dancers who are about to get a Boston beat down.
Seamus just Diana, Seamus just hugs you and says, "Welcome to Boston, sweetie. You're one of us now." That's amazing. That's amazing. We're going to have a celebration. We're going to have a reciting of the tale. We're going to have some recognition of your deeds. And
That sounds great and all, but do I get paid for any of this?
yes, of course you do, my love.
Yay.
And you'll always be welcome here.
With 2 fridges of Coke?
Sweetie,
You said
can have
one
it.
in a mini.
You can have it full of cocaine if you really felt like it. I tell you what. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Oh, we're gonna have a party tomorrow. Tomorrow's a party. You need to see. Oh, look at your hand. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, look at your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
Come here. This is gonna be good. It's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be
Okay.
good.
His magic trick, when you poke it, he screams.
Oh no, he's gonna really scream. This is gonna be fun. Watch this.
Shite.
Please.
His first real battle scar. Something to tell the tale.
Well, I have battle scars. They're all over me fucking upper arms and me chest. They're covered in tattoos too.
But this one doesn't get covered. This one you carry and you show off.
You must have gotten made fun of a lot and beaten up to get so many.
Yeah, when I was little, especially because Fianna don't like scars.
Oh my.
Yeah, well, they're gonna like this one. We're gonna start a new tradition. And Dublin Fianna can go fuck themselves, I tell ya. Feckin' bastards.
Yeah, they really can. Why do you think I moved here with you?
Oh my god, this is so great. We're gonna have a wild party tomorrow. We're gonna play music and have a good time. But yeah, by the time he's finished with you, you have a reasonable looking battle scar on your hand, and it is nicely healed.
Okay.
It's really gross. You should wear a glove.
And
No.
and it being 11 o'clock, we're going to leave it there. I think that's a
Cool.
nice spot to. That's a nice spot to end. I love the fact that you went through all that and managed to not pick a fight. That was beautiful.
So I get the dumbest image in my head for some reason.
Okay.
Because he said he just touched it with his finger, and for some reason I only imagine like part of his finger being burned and
No,
scarred.
he grabbed it and picked it
And
up
I
with his
had these-
hand, and it just
Oh,
melted.
okay.
It melted the skin off the palm of his hand.
Okay. For a second though, like it was just a finger for me,
Yeah.
and I had these little like finger puppets that are just smaller hands, and so like the first thing that came to mind was him wearing one of these little like tiny little hand finger puppets,
The hand
trying to hide it, and just trying to like pass it off as nothing. And everyone's like, "What the fuck? You got a hand on your finger?" It's like, don't ask questions.
That literally what happened was Gra went to go grab the book and he slipped his fingers underneath it and grabbed it with his hand and went to go lift it, and it's like the whole like hand like just skin melted off.
Yep.
That reminds me of what was that movie, Cube or some shit like
Mhm.
that. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Where
the
like
Cube, yeah.
all of a sudden he walks into a room, there's like acid, but he thinks it's water. All of a sudden his shit, like his body starts to melt off the bone.
That's nasty.
It's awesome. It was like one of my favorite like really dumb like special effects in any movie.
Indiana Jones? Question mark?
Shut up.
Is that what you're thinking of?
No.
No.
No, Cube.
The
Cube. It's like a horror. Like a horror,
different
weird sort of
movie.
creepy horror
There's
Saw
a-
type movie.
it's a-
They lock a couple of
Yeah.
people inside this weird cube where the rooms keep changing, and they have to figure out some sort of code, and each room is a death trap.
Yeah, and there's a trilogy, and you really should watch the first one and the third one. The second one tries to be all sci-fi and shit, and it's really lame and it sucks.
Well, the worst part
But
is they
there's
find
more.
out in the first one if they'd stayed in the first room, they would have been fine. It just makes its way around.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes its way around this cube-shaped maze, but because they think they're going to die each time, they jump into the next the next square-shaped room and have to figure out how not to die in there.
Right.
And one of them figures out like a sequence and some shit. And they before they figured out the sequence though, they had this like really good system of like throwing in a shoe, pulling it back in if nothing happens, then going in.
Mhm.
But then they argued a lot about the shoes for some reason, and buttons at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It was just funny. And there's a really cool part too, where like it's not even activated by the shoe anymore. And they like, I was like, oh, it's safe. One guy goes in, dies almost immediately. Yeah, and I think they made like a game, like someone made
yeah.
a game based off of it.
I'm sure they did.
That wouldn't
Okay.
surprise me.
I'm going to end the broadcast here. I'll be posting this online on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for
Nice.
checking it out and being part of it. And if you'd like to come and join us, let us know. If you're a roleplay gamer or if you're just into this kind of thing, message us or come and join us at House Stormwing. We are so happy to have had you as part of this broadcast, and check it out on YouTube at your leisure. We will catch you guys next time.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.